Good morning, everyone, and welcome to very early morning. Very early morning. We're going to be jumping straight into the Sina Cup for the day. We have LGD versus TongFu. After TongFu apparently told me it was coming in, and while I was setting up the cast, he came in and was telling me that TongFu just got raffle stomped pretty much by Invictus Gaming due to an aggro try. So TongFu certainly not coming into this next game. Can't be feeling too good about themselves, but hopefully they've gotten over it because they do have a tough match ahead of them against LGD. They need to be able to take this. They need to be able to get themselves some wins, man, because this TongFu squad really hasn't been able to do much in the last few weeks of our post TI4.
TongFu's turn to ban.
We are going to be running a 19-hour stream today. Toby started an hour ago. I started at 7 a.m. and I will be ending at 2 a.m. So if you guys at any point in time today, if you're farther east, you know, and it's the afternoon, you're like, I want to watch some Dota all evening long, we're here for you. If you're in Europe, you woke up early just to watch some Dota and you're ready to go for the rest of the day, welcome. Welcome, friend. We are going to have you all day long. And if you're in America and you're watching right now, late into the night, well, watch as long as you can. When you wake up in the morning, we'll still be here casting. LGD versus TongFu, though. We have a draft. Centaur Warrunner and Skywrath Mage is picked up by LGD. The Viper and the Shadow Shaman for TongFu. And
LGD
what? all right. I'm down with this. So we have the Mirana and Doom being banned away by LGD. The Faceless Void as well as the Invoker banned out by TongFu. And we now have Toski Tuskar is going to be picked up by LGD. Now, Tuskar has been like kind of theory crafted and run around a little bit and seen if like maybe he's actually a viable hero. We're still trying to figure that out.
10 seconds remaining.
But
5 seconds
I have
remaining.
no idea. Like, is this going to be a support Tuskar? I think support Tuskar is the most viable option for Tusk, but we do have the Tusk Centaur combo, which gives us the possibilities of a really, really early first blood. Not too sure how viable it is outside of that, but we'll have to see. Especially if he gets hit by, like, the Viper Strike or something, and then tries to snowball. He's just not going to go anywhere. We now have the Tidehunter is going to be picked up for TongFu, which now gives us a nice little offlaner, some big AoE control and everything else. But so far, it's just team fight versus team fight. The obvious push meta. We're not really seeing too many pushing heroes besides the Shadow Shaman being picked up by either side. So no early Death Prophets, no Pugna pickups or bans. None of those heroes. Which means we're just left with an all-out brawl, which is exactly what I want to see from Chinese Dota. We're seeing the old Chinese Dota of old, man.
10
Back when you
seconds
used
remaining.
to describe it. It still is described like Chinese Dota, you know, that late game stuff. That is completely flipped on its head just because the Chinese know that they just break down every patch and go, all right, what is the most efficient way to win this Dota game? And this current meta, it's all about the early game. We are in a heavy laning phase / mid-game oriented meta that doesn't allow you to go hard carries, doesn't allow you to try and stall the game or rat your way in. Of course, there's still some rat Dota here and there, but it's much more active rat Dota than we've seen in the past. Now, Ember Spirit's going to be grabbed as the fourth pickup now for LGD, which means that we now have ourselves a nice little carry, but he's a good brawler at the same time. Expecting him to be our mid, an offlane Centaur, Skywrath Mage, and Tuskar as our two supports. And TongFu are going to need some nice little disables. I mean, they've already got the Shadow Shaman and the Tidehunter Ravage, but if they can get some additional disables off the back of that to make up for the obvious lack thereof from the Viper, would be a nice little start for them.
Disruptor.
And I'm waiting for like the obvious Tuskar
LGD
combo because right now we only have the
turn to
Centaur.
ban.
The Centaur Snowball. I don't think you want to put your Ember Spirit. I mean, maybe early on, Ember Spirit Snowball isn't a bad idea. But, Skywrath Mage certainly doesn't want to be in that ball. And nice Disruptor pickup by TongFu, which is like perfect up against the Tuskar. Seeing as, you know, nice little. The Snowball comes in, you just throw it out in kinetic fields, throw down that ultimate. And as they hit your ally, they fall apart
LGD
into a static storm.
To pick.
Pretty easy, pretty easy. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. I am paying attention to the chat, and that's why I'm kind of giggling to myself because I'm working off of very little sleep right now since I was casting some American Dota last night, late into the evening. And I'm here now, and I've already drank half of my gigantic Red Bull canister. So shout out to you guys watching the
10 seconds remaining.
Shout out to you guys watching and those of you guys in the chat. I thank you for
5
keeping me
seconds
company.
remaining.
You guys are the ones keeping me sane here through the rest of the day. Morphleak's going to be banned out by TongFu. They
5 seconds
thinking that LGD apparently going to be running it back into a harder carry, but instead we're going to be seeing a Templar Assassin pickup, which the Templar Assassin is not really like Templar Assassin is 99.9% of the time a mid laner, but we have a Viper on the side of TongFu, so it's a little odd that they would choose to roll that. Kinda odd. They were low on reserve time. Maybe they just panicked. But it does give them a lot of mid to late game power now between both the Ember Spirit as well as the Templar Assassin, and the rest of the supports behind that are not that bad either. So Lifestealer is going to be banned away by LGD and a Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Last pickup here for TongFu. So very, very early game focused TongFu lineup with two supports that are a little bit greedy. Both supports need to pick up their level 6s, but as soon as they have that, they've got a lot of team fight, they've got a lot of pushing power, and a little bit extra sustain here from the Juggernaut with that healing ward. The only real pushing power that they have is the healing ward plus the Serpent wards. Just this healing ward being able to give you that kind of nice sustain. So I'm expecting a lot of early 5-manning as soon as they pick up their big ultimates. LGD Gaming certainly have a more pick-off-oriented lineup and a better late game. So if they can manage to win the laning phase, which they do have a really solid laning phase. Like the Tuskar and Skywrath Mage, if these guys do, I want to see them roam. Just because I want to see how this is going to work.
5 seconds remaining.
Because that's the reason I actually feel Tuskar is best being run as a support is mainly because his early roaming options. With the Snowball, we're gonna have Ingeline picking up the Centaur. MMY is going to be grabbing a Boots first Tuskar, leaving poor Faith to grab all of the support items apparently. And an early start here for MMY. Looks like he wants to try and get a quick first blood here in the bottom lane, where we're going to be seeing a defensive tri-lane with a Juggernaut, a mid, a Viper, and an off-lane Tidehunter. So no real big surprises here, as it looks like they actually are going to be running dual lanes here. I expected Fate to come to the bottom lane. I thought they were just going to go for a quick kill. But it looks like MMY has something different in mind here. I'm not really sure what he has in mind, but we'll see. They may be just trying to secure this early rune, and for example, if Kabu tries to go and sit on it, he's going to be caught out by the Snowball into the Hoof Stomp. I'm not too sure. So if they do actually, like, the Snowball can be a great saving mechanism. It's a little hard to use sometimes just because you kind of have to be in melee range. Oh, Kabu. No, Kabu. This is not where you wanted to be, friend. Oh, God. Here it comes. Here comes the Snowball. Run, Kabu. You can't run. You can't run from the Snowball. They're just going to right-click him down a couple of times. Ice Shard's going to be our first into the Hoof Stomp. And now Kabu is going to be taken down. I would have loved to see a Snowball, but I suppose the Ice Shards, especially in the river, being the better ability to pick up. And MMY does secure first blood for the LGD squad. So Kabu getting greedy and trying to get runes like that. Not working out so well for him. Meanwhile, our mid matchup, U9's Viper is going to be going up against Siler's Templar Assassin, and I don't think it's to anybody's surprise here, least of all LGD Gaming's, that they're going to have a rough time in this mid lane. But I suppose it's just going to have to be a bit of a trade-off. I'm not entirely sure what Tuskar is doing here with this. Alright, looks like he's going back to top lane, but I was just kind of looking at him going, why are you mid? Looks like he's going to stack. So they do have, I guess, some stack clearing. Either none of them are amazing, but Templar Assassin does technically have some splash with side blades. Ember Spirit later on will have the Sleight of Fist, and then, of course, our Centaur can clean it up with the Hoof Stomp. Gotta go offline. There we go. It's all better now. In July is going to be harassed out of lane. Pretty hardcore by this Disruptor, so not expecting him or the Tidehunter to get much in their off lane, as both of them are dealing with some of the most harassive supports in the game. You can see what Tidehunter's doing here. This is very common when dealing with a Skywrath Mage support, is that the Skywrath Mage, as amazing as he is with harassing, he will go through his mana pool very quickly and his attempt to harass you out of lane. And this is oftentimes what we're seeing is the double tangos plus healing salve. And you just play really aggressive and try and keep yourself as high health as possible, burning through your regen pretty quickly. And eventually the Skywrath Mage will run out of mana before you run out of health. Now, Red really wanting to protect this rune, apparently. Double damage is not going to be able to get it. Tuskar managed to grab it. And now Red is going to be in some serious trouble. Ice Shards up. U9 are stuck together here with Red. They're fighting up against the Snowball. Snowball's going to actually run into the Viper. They're going to try and right-click him down. Concussive Shot goes in, but the Nether Toxin is going to be enough to finish off the Tuskar. And it looks like Red should be able to get himself away from the other two, but still, they get the first kill and cost LGD a 3-man rotation here. But support in exchange for a Viper still worth it very much for LGD, especially since the Templar Assassin can now get a little bit of free farming time here in this mid lane, as he definitely does need it. He's currently taking the CS and is actually leading now, thanks to that. But he does need a Bottle Crow. Does need a Bottle Crow quite badly, as Siler's just sitting here with no health. And U9 may actually think about going in for the dive here, as I really would have considered it there. But of course, you always have Mel to fall back on, and he does not have any counter vision. Smoke up, rotation down to the bottom lane with the Centaur, and easy pickoffs. Oh, Kabu. Oh, that is just disgusting. And they're going to get a second one as well. LPC comes out, throws out an Ether Shock while he was pulling. Ends up getting caught. Immediate silence onto Jalvi, and Faith will ensure there's going to be no counter kill possibilities here for the side of TongFu. And LGD walk away. Now 1-4. These poor supports, man. And we're talking about how greedy these supports are. And the fact that they really need to pick up their level 6. Like, Shadow Shaman can be pretty viable. Siler. Oh, man. Oh, God. He's going to get right-clicked down. I'm not sure what Siler was thinking there, but... Oh, God. Jesus, he lived with 7 health. Are you kidding me? Holy crap. Siler, man. He's just playing this one on edge. And the rune is going to be bottom lane. Viper is going to try and run his way to it. Looks like he will be able to get it. But yeah, the fact that Siler is sitting above the CS line, above the Viper right now, is kind of ridiculous. He either should have died now or should be kind of zoned out of lane, but I suppose some of that early action, plus the bottle crowing, is keeping Siler in step. And now that he's gotten through those early levels, he's good from here. Like, if the Viper was going to be able to zone out the Templar Assassin at any point in time, it was going to be that level 1 to 3. Now that you're level 5 and now level 6, having the traps up, this lane becomes so much easier for you. Another smoke rotation. Skywrath Mage got to wait for the Tuskar. In July is already interrupting the pulls, and I think the supports know this time around, hey, we do not want to be around here. Maybe they don't. LPC runs back into the jungle, ends up getting caught, and MMY will just snowball him down.
I cross the
God, that snowball is so fun. So the defensive tri-lane getting stomped now by the roaming of the two supports, and they're going to go into the middle lane now and try and go for U9. They have shards. The Templar Assassin isn't really in a position to go for the dive just yet. And it looks like TongFu will be fine as LGD kind of jumped the gun a little bit. Now they're going to go for U9. They're going to be able to catch out the Shadow Shaman. Sylar's going to be Viper struck up and is going to lose his refraction pretty quickly here. Be taking a lot of damage, but should not lose his life. KonBu trying to get in range, but he has... Oh, he went for the 1-1-1 build, which isn't that surprising, but at the same time, if he just had that level of glimpse, maybe he could have chased down Sylar. Sylar's now going to be forced back once again as he tries to go on KonBu. 1-6, 6 minutes in. We have right now an Ember Spirit who's kind of been left solo up against a Tidehunter with the constant roaming of the two supports, which is fine for him. He can still easily win this 1v1 matchup as he has all of that physical damage. Or, excuse me, magic damage from his Flame Guard. So the physical damage from the Anchor Smash he doesn't care about too much. Zhao LV goes in for a deep dive and gets the Centaur kill with his Omni Slash, but will be right-clicked down here as the one level... Oh, maybe not. He doesn't keep it going, and still Faith is going to cut him off.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Anyway, I really like this. The Frozen Sigil is, I feel, a highly underrated ability for a Tuskar, and I think that's one of the things you should be maxing as a support Tuskar. Though I actually would prefer to see Snowball first. But KonBu looks like, as long as he has vision for this last one more nuke. Oh, KonBu's dead. Playing a little bit of game, a ring around the rosy. Jukes himself for a second, but will still be taken down. And the Centaur, Skywrath Mage, Tuskar combination, man, is just destroying TongFu. Remember that change to Clarities where it made it a bit longer duration but increased the amount of mana? This actually pays off. It's a pretty good buff to these roaming supports. U9 is going to find himself completely surrounded up against LGD. Another successful roam. And they just really need to get some good vision up, and unfortunately these early counter wards from LGD.
For the temple.
I'm not even sure what this ward is really supposed to do. I actually have no idea what this ward is supposed to give them. Like, it gives them this vision right here, but it doesn't actually give any vision of them going into the jungle like this and them going through like this. So, I don't know. Most of the time when you're dealing with this, you sometimes place a ward here in order to give that vision, that easy vision into this area. But it only gives you a limited amount of heads up. You need a little bit more, so maybe a ward in this area or even down here would be better up against the Skywrath Mage. Oh, look! A donkey!
Radiant's courier has been killed.
A dead donkey. Didn't have anything on it, but Zhao LV is going to immediately go for the spin here. LPC sitting on the side, waiting for his opportunity. He's now going to Hex up, Ravage onto 2 there, and the Omni Slash goes out and able to finish off the Tuskar. They're going to dive in pretty deep here for LPC, but doesn't seem to matter as Sylar is still able to green through him, and now they're joined by Yao. Are going to make this a quick little triple kill for them as they just completely overwhelm TongFu and just get right-clicked down. The attempt at a teleport is not going to be fast enough, as the one-level Sleight of Fist will give Yao the kill, and worth it for him in order to make this teleport across the other side of the map. It didn't actually looks like he didn't leave a remnant down here. Up at the top lane, so he's going to be, I guess, sticking around for a little while. Already has his drums plus his phase boots, so he's got all of his early to mid-game items. Now he can start building into a Battle Fury. It's important to go those basic stat movement speed items for an Ember Spirit early on. Centaur already have Tranquil Boots plus another 1,200 gold. And sure to be a very fast Blink Dagger for him. KonBu, I mean, these supports just can't really do anything against this kind of aggression, right? Both the Shadow Shaman and the Disruptor, especially the Disruptor, suffer heavily when dealing with heavy amounts of aggression right in their face. See a little one stack there, nothing too big. Looks like they're just going to continue to put pressure on the bottom lane, while Sylar is going to rotate up to the top lane with his Invis rune. And LPC, hopefully he doesn't move out, because he is screwed if he does.
Bottom tower is under attack.
And they'll just take control of this tier 1 tower. Nobody's going to teleport in up against them.
Dire's top tower is
At least I don't think so. Juggernaut looks like he wants to rotate down to this bottom lane and might be expecting some support, but I can't see how this is ever going to work well for them, especially with no Omni Slash up. Red clearing his way through some neutrals, trying to get himself that blink dagger, but is going to be far, far behind in July, who just needs another 200 gold to pick it up. Net worth, 5,300 for the Ember Spirits, 4,700 for Sylar's Templar Assassin, and the two most farm heroes on the side of TongFu, both sitting around the 3,500 range. Which goes to show how far behind they are right now. If they get a successful gank here in the middle lane, Faith will actually be able to pick up his ultimate. And that'll make this roaming pair that much more dangerous. They're going to run into red here. The Ravage is going to go off. No, instant silence from Faith. Very good reaction from him. He's still going to lose his life. Maybe not. The snowball's going to come in. The attempted Ravage goes off, but Faith is already way far ahead of Zhao LV. And is going to be forced to use the Omni Slash in order to kill him. Meanwhile, over on the side, Red is dealing with the hoof stomp, and now gets right-clicked down. Just dominating spree for Sylar.
They'll never find your grave.
And that was just a damn beautiful reaction from Faith, as that should have been a completely unexpected turnaround, with the Tidehunter sitting there ready to ravage, but the quick reaction by Faith allowed him to silence up the Tidehunter for that time being. And did he actually go? No, he went for just a 3-1-1 build. So that Ancient Seal only lasting 3 seconds, but 3 seconds was good enough for them to be able to claim that quick kill. And unfortunately, this means LGD. Well, I was talking about it earlier. If they win the laning phase, man, they are just going to... Because they have a lineup that is still good at fighting mid-game. And they have the better late game. So TongFu, I mean, they're still waiting on their ultimates. Like, Disruptor simply is not a hero. He's like a level 1 harasser, and then he stops being a hero until he hits level 6. Until then, it feels like he's just kind of like an oversized creep, unless you're doing some like roaming with glimpse and are able to find those kind of pickoffs. But when it comes to these straight up team fights, he just doesn't do anything for you. Oh, silence onto Zhao LV as he tries to come forward. Centaur ultimate also going off. LPC gets kind of run over there for a second. Sylar is going to be forced back. Glimpse. And they might have enough damage to finish him off. The Snowball will be able to save him. Slow Snowball right into LPC. MMY trying to get him to the way out. Sylar getting low. Will be taken down by the Serpent Ward. And 1 kill at the very least. Looks like MMY is still going to lose his life to the Viper there as the Corrosive Skin manages to kill him. As he actually looks like he threw out Ice Shards and hit U9 and died to the level 4 Corrosive Skin. I think that's what happened to him. As I was like, I saw him with like no health, and I was like, oh, but he's going to get away. And then his health started ticking down even further, and I'm like, wait, what? What? What did you do? What did you do, Tuskar? Perseverance, and Ember Spirit with the regen in his bottle will go right back up to full as well. He's going to have about a 20-minute Battle Fury, which is very fast for an Ember Spirit. Red had himself an ancient stack, but he's going to clear through this and still not even be halfway to his blink dagger, which is a shame. LGD going to be going in for a dive here. Double damage on U9. They do have the Ravage that's going to be able to go off. Controls in July for a little bit. Net goes off, but U9 still going to be targeted down by the Skywrath Mage. Needs another nuke, though. Centaur unable to finish him off. And it looks like that was still not enough. They're going to get 3 kills off of this one and lose nobody in the process. A beautiful team fight there for TongFu. As LGD try and be a bit too aggressive. Kabu, oh, Snowball is going to chase him down, but that's not going to be enough. MMY punches him once, and wow, with a sleight of fist, they get the kill, but MMY will still be shackled up and taken down. Yao wants to battle here apparently, but he's kind of already lost everybody. So there's no way he can get a kill. But a 1-for-4 exchange, TongFu. They may be back into this game. This seemed like it was just going to be a simple stomp, but a team fight like that actually turned things around quite dramatically for them, as they finally get some good levels on their supports. And they have a mech up. Tidehunter is going to try and finish up this stack and get him a little bit closer to his Blink Dagger. LV is going to be forced back. Sylar hits by the Viper Strike, and he may actually lose his life here. Centaur ultimate coming in. U9 is going to be stomped up. Skywrath Mage drops the ultimate as well. They're trying to burst down the Viper, but he still gets off the mech in time. He may die here, but the spin is doing some serious work, or not. The snowballs stay. And now Sylar is in some trouble, but he's going to be able to get himself away. The Ether Shock finishes off the Centaur. Sylar managed to get himself out for the time being. No glimpse available for Kabu, but he does have an ultimate. Sleight of Fist, not quite enough. Bit of heal from the Magic Wand will keep him alive.
Tower is under attack.
And the Healing Ward certainly doing a lot of work for them. 1-for-2 exchange this time around in the favor of LGD, but it was a damn close one too, as that snowball was the only saving factor. That spin was hitting like 3 or 4 heroes at once. But the two that were in the most trouble there were saved by the snowball. And Sylar is actually going to try and do a very early Roshan here. He's got the Lucians to be able to tank up. And here it comes, the Frozen Sigil, level 4 Frozen Sigil. Yeah, no wonder he's trying to do Roshan by himself. With the Sigil, it makes it so easy. When Roshan only hits every half an hour. Yeah. You don't even lose your refraction charges.
Is under attack.
And now the snowball into the Roshan pit as well. Just to make sure that if they do have vision, it's not going to be as obvious.
Roshan has
You
fallen
just snowball
to the
in.
dire.
So now an Aegis for Sylar is going to make this next team fight a lot easier. But TongFu are still going to try and save their tier 1 tower. They can't afford to be giving up any extra advantages here to LGD, as they already gave up the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. If they start losing map control up against LGD, it's just going to get so much worse than it already is. They do have a Ravage up, but it's certainly going to be a tough team fight. 11-20, glimpse back. This is a really good start. They're going to kill Yao first. There goes the Ravage, hitting 3, and they quickly finish off the Ember Spirit. Oh, in July, he actually went into the silence there, unable to get off a quick hoof stomp. Shadow Shaman, he's going to be first down by Sylar, but he gets off most of his abilities before he dies. Now Sylar tries to get himself away from the Viper. Red punched up in the air by MMY, and that looks like it's going to be the end of the engagement. They killed the Ember Spirit real quick, and only lost the Shadow Shaman in return. Not a bad team fight, but they used the Ravage. And LGD, the only thing really holding them back right now is the fact that they're a little bit low, but between bottles and urns, they'll get themselves back up to full, and they'll easily have enough team fight to be able to claim this tier 1 tower. As no Static Storm, no Ravage, what can TongFu really do now? The Spin's going to be able to finish off that refraction. Sylar is taken into the snowball and will be let loose onto Red, where the double damage is easily able to finish him off. LLB also taken down as the chains hold him in place. LPC frantically trying to shackle up the Templar Assassin, but Sylar just creams through 5 different heroes. And LGD only losing the Skywrath Mage in the process, not even the Sylar Aegis. And they'll just finish off this tier 1 tower. It's no surprise TongFu lose that fight. I mean, they had a good one in the beginning there where they picked off the Ember Spirit, but they just didn't get enough out of that Ravage. And LGD, all they had to do was just back up, wait for the next one, and I love it. Blink Dagger up on MMY. Now we see the power of a true support, as MMY can always blink in and snowball save people. I mean, he's already been doing it time and time again so far in this match against TongFu, but now that he's got the Blink Dagger, he's got that quick response. He doesn't have to worry about necessarily being the frontline hero and maybe getting disabled and stunned down. BKB finished by Sylar. We have In July, who's going to be going for a... Is that a mech or a pipe? Because we don't actually have a mech on the side of LGD, so kind of expecting that one. But at the same time, if he wants to leave it to one of the supports and go for the more expensive pipe pickup, can't really blame him too much. 13-26, 20 minutes into the game. We already have a 10,000 gold lead for TongFu. And almost a 10,000 experience lead on top of that. We're going to be having a smoke rotation here from TongFu that is going to try and catch out Yao. Yao does have a remnant here in the back, which means they're going to need Shadow Shaman to be the first one in, or they have to catch the Ember Spirit with the Static Storm. Either way, it's entirely possible the Ember Spirit is able to react fast enough in order to get himself out. So it should be a free kill on the Ember Spirit, but there's chances he survives. Apparently, we're not going to be seeing a Blink Dagger. Red is instead going to be going for a pipe. I just don't feel it's enough, right? It's a defensive item pickup when your team needs to be able to be aggressive right now. That's my biggest problem with it. See whether or not this gank works, though. Shadow Shaman. Oh, the glimpse back into the Static Storm. He tries to jump to his remnant. It's going to be in vain. And yeah, will be picked off. So nicely played there by TongFu as they get a pick off. And we'll try and turn this into a tower push. We already have LGD wrapping around. Red is going to be spotted out here. The Icicle Shards will trap him in. Beautiful play from MMY. Completely body blocking him out. And with that counter ward, they'll be able to finish off Red. Does get off a Ravage though. 3 heroes going to be stun locked in. Snowball out. He is slowed down, though. The Snowball is not going to be the fastest in the world. It's still going to be enough to chase down Red. They'll pop him real quickly. Sylar now popping the BKB. Takes down the healing ward. He's going to focus on LPC, trying to take down that squishy support. Will be able to do so successfully. MMY, meanwhile, focused by the Viper. Skywrath Mage going to drop the ultimate here on TongFu. Kabu is going to be taken out by Sylar. Snowball goes on to Zhao LV, and the quick blink away. Well played by MMY. And now the spin to win. Zhao LV punched in the air. He's going to lose his teleport and is now trying to chase down MMY. Oh, MMY. You are such a cheeky bastard, man. You pulled out some gigantic plays, but he ends up running into the Serpent Wards. Well played by him. Sylar is going to be losing his Aegis here, and Zhao LV will run himself away. No Blink Dagger up for Sylar. So we won't actually be able to get in the fight. And the end result is actually not half bad here for TongFu, as that Ravage going off just before the last hits could finish off the Tidehunter. Completely changed that fight. Still, though, MMY with the clutch Blink Dagger Tuskar moves, man. This support Tuskar, I want to see so much of it, man. It really is an amazing hero.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower.
But I think it's only viable
attack.
in these kind of support roaming rotations. And when the rotations fail, you end up falling off pretty hard. But when the rotations work and you're able to get a quick Blink Dagger like he has, hero becomes pretty amazing. Every single time I look at Red, he's farming up the Ancient stack just because, well, it's the easiest bit of farm he has on the map right now. LGD have taken all the outer tier 1 towers and are claiming a lot of map control. As you can see, MMY is going to get a nice little aggressive vision down. Get some good vision of the enemy jungle and those kind of rotations in through this area. And July finished up his mech, and he could always go the pipe if he wants to. He's already got another 1,500 gold. U9's Icicle Shards go out, and the Shard will be able to slow him down. U9 dealing with a double damage Sylar plus a Centaur ultimate is just going to get run over quite literally by LGD. And they almost look like they want to go in for a further dive. Sylar now targeting Red, who already gets silenced up. Ravage goes off. Static Storm holding in 2 here, but the BKB already activated by Sylar. Omni Slash bounces to the creeps now, and Zhao LV trying to get himself away from the rest of LGD, but he's going to be slowed off. Icicle sharded in as well, and nowhere to go. as the chain simply just burned him away. And Yao,
is under attack.
feel like we haven't really seen him too much, but he already finished up. Battle Theory has another 2k gold, and that is going to get even bigger as they get this tier 2 tower in the middle lane.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And they may choose to back up and do Roshan here pretty soon. Top 3 net worth on the board, the 3 cores of LGD. While the Juggernaut is just keeping pace with the offlaner, Viper is certainly fallen off quite heavily now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Force Staff is going to be picked up by the Centaur. Makes sense up against the Disruptor and all of these slows. So I like that mobility item quite a bit. And LGD, despite the fact that this is tier 2s this early, without having that much pushing power, can be tough to take. They certainly have enough power. 2-man Hoof Stomp is going to be starting off. Static Storm goes off, zoning out the rest of LGD, while Siler dives in really deep with his BKB, but still is going to be fine. MMY, meanwhile, slowed down. Snowball will protect him for the time being, and he'll start going in. Oh, that Sleight of Fist plus the 4-man Hoof Stomp, and LGD just demolished TongFu. 4 heroes down, and the Disruptor is going to be the last to fall. He calls mercy. He says GG. No more. I tap out, but not fast enough to save his own skin. And holy hell. LGD ended on quite the climactic finish there, as they just demolished TongFu in that last team fight, man. That was rough to watch. But that means we are now going to be getting ourselves into our next game. This is going to be a best of 3 between TongFu and LGD, so TongFu do have a chance to make the comeback, but it's going to be after a short little break.